Hello, friends. How are you tonight? Happy Friday. I hope you had a great week and that you're taking some time to relax this weekend. All right, so day 95. Last night I said 93, and then I realized it was 94, and so I'm losing track. Anyway, so day 95 of A Path of Purpose. Shar Meekins here. And this week, I got into a conversation with a friend, Pastor Lori, and we were talking about when we were young and we had phones on the wall, right? Dial phones. And we would have these long cords, and in order to talk privately or talk with our friends, you'd pull this cord and go sit in a closet or in a corner, right, away from your family. But that was the peak of your privacy, was pulling this, 8-foot cord. I don't know. Was it really 8 foot? Probably more like 6 foot. I'm just not sure. But all I remember about those cords is how they would twist up and tangle, and you would spend, several minutes on that phone call just uncoiling that cord. So it's so funny. I recently saw a TikTok where the parents gave a rotary phone to a couple of teenage boys, and they challenged them. And I think it was something, maybe you've seen this one. I think it was something, we'll give you $100 if you can show us how to use this rotary phone within so many minutes. I don't remember how many minutes it was, but I laughed so hard because the things that we've learned over time, hi Amy, the things we've learned in our lifetime and how much things have just changed in my life. It's just so funny. Those memories are a hoot. And even I told them that the first phone in my home growing up in rural Nebraska was a crank phone. And I remember pulling up a stool next to the phone and climbing up on the chair, and I was going to call my grandma. And this is back when there were party lines. And so that a party line was something that more than one person would be able to utilize this phone line. But that meant if somebody else was on the phone line, you couldn't make a phone call. Well, so what you would do is you would always listen. You'd pick up the receiver and you would listen to see if anyone else was on the phone. And then if it was urgent that you needed to make a phone call, you would just kind of do a click on the receiver and then hang up and then pick up the phone in, a few minutes again to see if you were able to use the phone line. Craziest thing ever. Well, I had my family shared their phone line with my Aunt Dolores and Uncle Junior and our cousins, which was just down the road on the farm. And one day I probably was, I don't know, you guys, I was young, like maybe 5 or 6. And I crawl up on the chair and I'm going to call my grandma. And I pick up the receiver, and before listening to this round little receiver thing, I start cranking my grandma's number. And then I started listening, and I could hear my grandma talking. And then I realized my Aunt Dolores was on there. So my grandma was talking to my Aunt Dolores on the phone line. But because I hadn't listened first to see if anyone else was on the call, I literally interrupted the phone call with my aunt and my grandma. But the thing was, I thought I had called them both at the same time and that I was talking to my grandma and my mom. And I was so excited that I was talking to my grandma and my mom, my aunt at the same time. And I am sure my mom got a really good kick out of that one. I'm sure she laughed and laughed and laughed. And so we just had been talking about memories this week, and someone else this week was playing old rock and roll songs, and it's just funny. It's just funny what we remember and what we share about with each other. And what I realized is oftentimes we don't share those stories with our kids. And we think our kids know us when actually there's so much about ourselves that our kids don't know. And so it would be really good to start writing some of those things down in a format that maybe even our grandkids would enjoy. Like, hi, Laura. Like, I was thinking tonight, what was my favorite birthday gift? And I remember I was probably 8 years old, and my favorite birthday gift was a brand new bicycle. But the funny thing was, it was a big bike, right? So it was my first big, probably two-wheel bike, actually. And I remember my dad helping stable the bike and me getting on so I could ride the bike down the hill in our farmyard area because, there was a lot of area and dirt that I could ride on. Well, the craziest thing is I took off on that bike, and I'm sure my dad's running behind me, trying to rescue me, but I remember I crashed into the chicken coop. It was like, oh my gosh. And I didn't get hurt, but I was having a really hard time controlling that bike, right, for my first time. And then another gift I think about was I was probably 4, right? And back then, I don't know if Laura can remember this or not, but there was a doll that had come out that was called a Kissy doll. Oh, you guys. And this doll was probably maybe 24 inches tall, right? 20 inches tall. And so when you squeezed its arms together, it would make the lips pucker on this doll. Well, it was my favorite doll, and I loved it. And I have a picture of myself holding this doll, and I am just beaming in front of this Charlie Brown Christmas tree of all things, right? So, so I was just thinking it would be fun to, hi Jonathan, it would be fun for us to write down some of those fun memories from growing up that we can share with our family. And you don't, Laura doesn't remember that doll. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's crazy what we remember, right? And we assume our families know us, and but the truth is our kids really don't know us unless we've told them stories about ourselves that would give them some understanding of who we are and what our likes are and our dislikes even, right? So anyway, I was just thinking about memories when I was talking to Pastor Lori, and we were talking about the phones and just the things we grew up with. I grew up with a Ringer washing machine, and I remember sitting on the washer sitting off on the side of the washer while my mom was washing and wringing out clothes. And I don't know if I was trying to help her put clothes into the wringer to wring the water out, but I do remember my little hand going in there and getting caught. And that was very painful. I remember that. And so the things that we remember that people can't even relate to because it was something so long ago, so many things have changed. So anyway, just fun memories. nothing, I don't know, nothing major, but just fun. Yeah. Yeah. And with the eclipse, coming up tomorrow, right? Tomorrow. I remember an eclipse when I was probably 6, and they taught us how to make these little telescopes with tinfoil so that you wouldn't look directly at the eclipse, but you would look at through. Oh, cool! You would be looking through this telescope, so you weren't looking directly at the eclipse. But Laura says, I remember when my grandma got her new Ringer washing machine. That is cool. I have a cousin that still uses one, right? It's amazing. I admire people that don't change with the times just because everyone else does. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah. Okay, you guys, I'm going to let you go, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. But that was it. I guess I'm tired, so I can't finalize my thought, I guess. All right, you guys, thanks for joining me. It's fun visiting. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.